Sequoia Outreach and Forest Lawn High School have had this partnership, and we want to keep it going for a few reasons. In the future, we'd really like to do even bigger projects in science, projects in history and social studies together. But one of the main things that we've accomplished here in the 3 years that we've been going is that we've given each other an opening to look at each other's cultures and to appreciate culture. And that's why we're so glad that people who are very, very new to Canada come here. So we have the very, very oldest people of Canada, the Siksika, and we have the very newest people to Canada who have come from Forest Lawn High School today. And I think that's what makes our country so incredibly special. And one of the things about having new Canadians, when you're an old Canadian, how many of you voted in the election on Monday? How many? Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But Canadians are really lazy. Canadians are lazy about exercising democracy. And one of the reasons that we need new Canadians is that they're passionate about freedom.
Yes.
And so we're very happy to have new Canadians because they teach us again and again and again how important it is to have democracy, freedom, and we need to have that reminder regularly. So I just want to start by saying that when you were looking at the original video this morning, the video is back here behind you. This is the original Blackfoot Crossing down here. And there's great stories about it that have been passed down through the oral tradition of the Siksika. They said that this whole valley, as far as you could see, both sides were absolutely covered, as far as you could see, with teepees of all these tribes of the 5 nations of 37. Who can name them? Who can name? Give me one. Siksika. Give me 2. Sarsi. What's the other name for Sarsi? Tuksina. Third one. Kainai. No. Yeah, so that's the 5 tribes. Do all the tribes speak Blackfoot? No. No, not all the tribes speak Blackfoot. Which ones are Blackfoot speakers? Kainai and? Yeah. And sometimes? They signed the treaty. This whole valley was filled with teepees. They said there were literally thousands and thousands and thousands of First Nations people camped all throughout the flat land here. And up on the top of the hills over here, the British had their cannons. And they had their cannons on the hills up here, pointed down at the people into the valley. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ready for war.
There's pictures of it, actually.
Well, they were.
Yeah. Siksika, several years ago, right across the river over here, is a golf course, a beautiful, beautiful golf course called Hidden Valley. And you can buy cabins there.
Rent them.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I appreciate that, thank you. However, my name is Masoud. I am a Kurdish, and most of you have no idea about Kurdish people as far as I know. And the Kurdish nation is 55 million people at the Middle East without any country, without any border. The same as the native people in Canada. That's our own land, but being occupied with 4 different countries. We have no right to speak our own language. We have no right to practice our tradition, our religion, nothing. Even our simple existence is under question down at the Middle East. And I really understand deeply about the native people in that country. What does it mean to be a native and systematically to be destroyed? The language, the culture, everything. But however, that's the way it is. There is nothing really we could do. Entire system is more stronger than our power. But it doesn't mean you have to be passive or not to do anything. Tomorrow is another day. I spent 2 years in the prison. 2 years rebellion, fighting at the mountains against governments. But, I ended up in Canada as a refugee. Today, I'm here, and tomorrow is another day for everybody. Many people would say, study, go have education, go get a career, whatever. But that depends to you. That is personal, belief. Whatever you want to get, just don't forget who you are. Who is your people? That is your land. We have a multicultural society here, like a melting pot for everybody. Nothing is clear. Nobody knows what to deal with anyway. But still, just at least we have a freedom. We have that freedom today. I can stand here, just talk to your guys. Back there, really believe me, at the Middle East, you have no God to criticize anything. Here, you go criticize your prime minister, your government. So we are lucky to be in that country. And well, that's all about. Tomorrow is another day, anyway. And life is beautiful always. Thank you.
Talk loud.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be talking about.
Just talking about last night.
Yeah. My name is Sultan, and I was born in Ethiopia. Does anybody know where that is?
Who knows where Ethiopia is?
Yeah. That's in Africa, northeastern part of Africa. And I came to Canada when I was 15 years old. So I came to Canada as a refugee because of my dad's involvement in the country. He was being persecuted, and my family was being persecuted. So I came to Canada as a refugee, and I'm not really sure the whole story how I got here, but
You were smuggled.
smuggled. Anyway, from 15 years old up to now, the best way I survived in Canada is just by focusing on school and trying to not to be distracted. So I did my high school in Strathmore, and then I did engineering at the University of Alberta. Right now I am doing medicine at Windsor University. So that's my story in short. I was not prepared for this. So
How old are you now?
I'm 26 years old now. And if you guys have any question, you can come ask me
Tell them
privately.
about your education, where you're at now.
I'm at University of Windsor. I'm doing medicine, second year, and I still have 2 more years to go. So that's pretty much my last story. Thank you.
I guess it's still morning. Good morning, guys. My full name is Walter McDonald White Bear. I come from Moose Factory, Ontario. That's located in the James Bay region. And I guess we all have our stories and our own journeys here to travel while we're here on Mother Earth. And the thing that has been a part of my journey and has been my rock is finding the native spirituality. The first time I was ever invited to a sweat lodge, I was about 22 years of age. And at that time, I thought that all of those things had been swept under the history, under the carpet of Canada. I was so far removed from myself that I did not know that medicine men, the sun dances, the lodges, and all that kind of stuff actually existed. And when I found that place, it was like coming home. Like the first time I was ever invited to a ceremony, we were sitting in a circle. And it was the strangest feeling to actually be in front of the presence of that elder when he passed over his drum to me. And when they closed that lodge for the first time, when he held that rattle in his hand, it took a life of its own. It was like a firefly, and it flew around the lodge, and it landed perfectly in my hand. And when they opened up again, the lodge again for the second time, he asked me, what are you here for? Like, what is your purpose? And I started telling all about the family that I grew up in. There was a lot of alcohol abuse. I saw a lot of family suicides, and I saw a lot of family violence. And I grew up with the notion that it's okay to hit women because that's what my uncles and my cousins were doing, and that's the kind of family that I was born into. And I started, all this like emotional stuff that I've been carrying around for years started to pour out of me, and I told this man, why I'd come to the lodge. And he said, for you from this point on, you're just supposed to walk in the red road and learn about who you are, and these nightmares and these things that are inside of you are going to cease to stop. And they did. And so that was about 22 years ago, and since then I've gone and done several vision quests, and I've seen elders all the way from the Mi'kmaq people to the Haida Nation in order to heal myself up. Because as this man was speaking here, every day is a new day, and you can go around your whole life blaming white people or blaming whoever it is, but you're ultimately responsible for your own journey and how you're going to show up. And as our interpreter was saying this morning, when you come to the Creator, He's going to ask you, what your name is, and my name is Wabas Musquaw, and that's part of my spirit and part of my story. Thanks for listening, guys.
Well, how can I say no when I listen to Walter and Masood and Denise's son and all of you? All of you have stories to share. My story is I came from Lebanon. We were in a civil war. And the sad thing is it's the same people fighting each other based on religion. It's very sad. So at that time, Canada opened its door to many refugees from Lebanon. So I immigrated to Canada in the early 80s. And at age 15, trying to learn the language, adapt to the culture, and try to fit in. And like Masood and Walter picked on this point, we can't blame anyone. It's you who dictate your journey at the end. You really have to decide what's important for you. Do you want to be just anybody, or do you want to be someone special who can leave a legacy, even for your family and people in your own community and neighborhood? So for me, my advice to all people doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, is just believe in your spirit, believe in yourself, and walk your journey with your head high and be proud of who you are. Don't be ashamed of who you are. So that's my message to you.